Good Tuesday morning, January 16th, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's weather forecast, we will be talking about our snow chances across the country going through the next couple of weeks, as well as a January thaw that is coming, but not before we see some of the coldest air of the season continuing as we go into this upcoming weekend. If you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns across North America, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and helping me also to get to 75,000 subscribers by the end of this month simply by subscribing down below and pressing the like button down below. It helps out more than you know. Looking at your temperatures this morning, you're waking up to head out the door. It is cold and very cold once again. We have dangerously cold temperatures across the Midwest and the north central states here. We're waking up to 20 degrees below zero in the Iowa City area, 15 below in Des Moines, and 11 degrees below zero this morning in Omaha. So it's definitely cold up here into the Midwest, and you factor in a little breeze from the winds out there. Here are your wind chills waking up this morning at 36 below there into Iowa City, 31 below in Des Moines, and 29 below there into Omaha, and even 25 below over on the Chicago lakefront. So it is very cold and bitterly cold this morning, so make sure to bundle up. It's going to get a little warmer this afternoon, a little warmer than we've seen the past couple of afternoons, but we're still going to be seeing temperatures in the single digits on either side of zero across the upper Midwest and into portions of the Ohio Valley this afternoon. But even just a little breeze, just like this morning, our wind chills this afternoon will be into the single digits and teens below zero as we go into peak daytime heating. So again, bundle up if you're headed out this afternoon. Here are your current weather conditions across the country. We are watching a winter storm that is ongoing across New England, bringing snow here to portions of New York State, Pennsylvania there, down into West Virginia, even extending over there into Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts there, into northern New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, you name it. We have some snow flying around here currently. Just over the past 48 hours, that winter storm traveled across the southern plains into the Tennessee Valley and then up through the mid-Atlantic states, bringing some healthy snowfall accumulations. And zooming it in here across the Tennessee Valley, we actually did see up to around 4 inches or so of snow in Nashville, 6 inches of snow over here toward Knoxville, and even western parts of Virginia saw up to around 7, 8 inches of snow over the past 48 hours. So some healthy snowfall accumulations with that storm. So as we go through today, that winter storm will be dropping light to moderate snow accumulations across portions of Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, getting through New York State, especially eastern New York State, northeastern Pennsylvania. We have a mix of rain and snow from Boston down the I-95 corridor there through Hartford and getting into the New York City area. All rain likely there for southeastern Connecticut, Rhode Island, and then down into Long Island, and then extending down into southern New Jersey as we go through today. Going into tonight, we'll say goodbye to that winter storm and say hello to another winter storm moving across the Pacific Northwest, the highest of elevations over here into Washington State, Oregon, Idaho, getting into the Sierras in California, and even into Montana. We'll be seeing some heavier snowfall breaking out as we go into tonight. That continues really as we go through the day on Wednesday, spreading further east into the northern Rockies, this time into Wyoming, into Utah, and northwestern Colorado with some heavier snowfall accumulations. Here's your snowfall accumulation as we go through Thursday morning on your January 18th time frame. Notice we have that snow, light to moderate accumulations across New England falling, but our next winter storm will be pushing across the Pacific Northwest, bringing some very healthy accumulations here. First, let's talk about the accumulations with that first system. From Maine down through portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, we could talk about 3 to 6 inches with isolated up to 10 inches of snow up toward the Caribou and Bangor, Maine regions. And then further south and west from there, Albany, New York, western Massachusetts, getting down into portions of northeastern PA here. We could be talking about 2 to 4 inches worth of snow. New York City, maybe around 1.5 to 2 inches. In Long Island, an additional inch of snow as we go through your Thursday morning. Then switching over to the Pacific Northwest here, going through Thursday, that second system coming ashore to the west coast, moving into the Pacific Northwest with heavy snow. Could be seeing a couple of feet here, up to 3 feet of snow potentially, into the higher elevations of Washington State and down into western Oregon, and then especially some heavy snow with a foot or so of snow across portions of northern Idaho, northwestern Montana, and even some decent snows outside of the Salt Lake City area into Utah as we go through your Thursday time frame. Looking at the travel out there, it will be impacting travel across New England and the Northeast, at least minor travel disruptions, maybe some more moderate travel disruptions up there toward Caribou or Bangor, Maine as we go in towards that Thursday morning time frame. And then we have more moderate to major travel disruptions. The higher up you go in elevation across the Pacific Northwest, that's where we're going to be seeing more of those travel troubles with slippery snow-covered roads, so make sure you are paying attention to that. Then looking back at temperatures again, as we go into the middle of the week, we're going to take a break from the extreme cold. It's still going to be cold out there across the United States, especially the eastern two-thirds. But this will probably feel like summer compared to what we have seen. Then the second punch of cold air will be moving south as we go into later this week, especially centered around that Friday night time frame. That'll move down the high plains and into the Midwest. And then as we go into the weekend, that will spread east and fan itself out across the Mid-Atlantic, the Southeast, and New England once again. And bitterly cold temperatures will result by the weekend. So here's your high temperatures on Wednesday. This is tomorrow on the 17th of January. Here's your high temperatures. Single digits above zero finally across the upper Midwest, below zero into the single digits across the southern portions of Canada, from British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, over here into Manitoba and Western Ontario. Going to be seeing those below zero highs. Further south, though, into the United States, the freezing line is down here across the Tennessee Valley and the Central Plains on Wednesday. Then as we go late week, Friday time frame on the 19th, the freezing line drops further to the south into North Texas again, down to 31 in Dallas-Fort Worth, 31 in Little Rock, and 26 degrees in Nashville. So definitely seeing that as we go into Friday. Single digits above or below zero again across the north central states and southern Canada. Then as we wake up on Saturday morning on the 20th of January, starting your next weekend's time frame, we're going to be seeing that cold enhancing over that snowpack here, 15, 20, even 25 degrees below zero with just our low temperatures, and factor in the wind, we could be seeing wind chills between 25 and 40 degrees below zero again, centered across the Midwest here into the Great Lakes for your Saturday morning on the 20th, and it is going to be enhanced by that deeper snowpack left behind by our recent snowstorms across these regions. So that cold air is going to be more like a refrigerator across that region. But if you are not a fan of the cold weather and the extreme cold at that, we have some great news for you by the end of January. We're going to have more of a January thaw, if you will, by the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, January 23rd through the 29th and likely through the 31st, right through the end of January. Above normal temperatures are favored across all of North America, especially here into portions of the United States. And let's look back here at our AO. This is our Arctic oscillation. Notice it's negative, so that means our cold air is actually pushing further south. Whenever you have a negative AO or Arctic oscillation, that means that colder temperatures and likely Arctic temperatures are going to be moving south from Canada into the United States. But notice that goes positive values as we go into the late portion of January and tries to trend more neutral, but stays above into those positive values toward the end of January. And then looking here at our NAO, the North Atlantic oscillation, that is also negative, and you can see that trending more positive here and staying positive through the end of January. That means when we have the warmer temperatures return, they will be more favored to the east across the eastern United States with our positive NAO. So here, as we go through early next week, we start to see a nice robust warm up across the United States here. The freezing line goes all the way up here into the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes region, and interior New England. Still seeing Arctic air though into southeastern Canada and much milder air further to the south. Then as we go into the middle of next week, that freezing line goes all the way up into the upper Great Lakes, if not into the portions of southeastern Canada by then, melting our snowpack. Upper 30s returning across the Midwest, low 40s across the Ohio Valley, and even warmer from there further to the south. And then by late next week, that freezing line hangs up across the Midwest into southeastern Canada. And look at that, folks, 60s, 70s returning across much of the deep south and the southeast by the time we get into later next week in about a 10-day time from now. And looking at precipitation, once we get to the end of January, above normal precipitation. So when you have warmer temperatures with above normal precip, that likely will spell out more liquid precipitation in the form of rain. And you can see that early next week, rainfall here across the Illinois Valley, getting southward through the Missouri Valley and the Southern Plains. A few thunderstorms in the mix here, with enough instability across eastern Oklahoma and East Texas. Probably not any severe weather early next week. By the middle of next week, we'll build more instability with some thunderstorms down here into Texas Hill Country, into portions of southeast Canada, southeastern Oklahoma, into Arkansas and the deep south. And then by late next week, we're just going to have repeated rounds of heavy rain and possibly some severe weather. There could be some severe weather breaking out across Dixie Alley, because you can see early next week, we'll be building the instability here down into Texas and the southern U.S. Typically what you need for severe weather is a 55-degree dew point or higher, and you can see that marching all the way up to the north toward the Red River here between southern Oklahoma and North Texas and down near the Gulf Coast. But look at the 60-degree dew points. By later next week, you can see trending all the way up into the mid-Mississippi Valley, and you have mid-60 dew points down here into the Dixie Alley region from East Texas into portions of Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida there, and even toward the Carolinas by later next week. And when we have one of these troughs moving into that environment, that could be creating some lift, and with that cold front passing through, we could be seeing some severe weather potential by the time we get to later next week. But even if the severe weather potential does not pan out later next week, it will be producing repeated rounds of very heavy rain. This is your EPS ensemble guidance. This is your European ensemble guidance, and you can see the heaviest of the rains favored near the Gulf Coast here, coastal Texas through coastal Louisiana and Mississippi. And then looking at the GEFS ensemble guidance, your American ensemble guidance, and you can see basically in the same ballpark, coastal Texas, Louisiana, and to southern Mississippi, where the heaviest rains will fall. And just checking that up here with the Climate Prediction Center, the experts over there showing a slight risk of excessive rain and heavy precipitation all the way up to the southern Ohio Valley region and the southern Midwestern regions, with a moderate risk of heavy precipitation across the lower Mississippi Valley there, right where those ensemble models were showing it. And then the heavier snows out west, as we'll be warming up out east, will be cooling down a little bit across the west, and those higher elevations across the Four Corners region, the northwestern Rockies, and then the mountains out west, we'll be seeing some very heavy snows between that January 23rd and that 29th time frame as we go into later January. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate each and every one of you, including the old subscribers, the newer subscribers. Thank you guys so much for supporting this page. Make sure, if you are new, to subscribe to the channel down below for detailed weather breakdowns across North America. Press the like button down below as well, and share this video with friends, family, and on social media. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their Tuesday out there.